Have you ever noticed how some women walk into a room and without saying a single word, everyone just knows? They don't announce it, they don't perform it, there's no logo, no loud laugh, no scene. And yet, you feel it instantly. That quiet, unshakable presence, that sense of, she has it together. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Elegance was never about what you wear. It's about what you refuse to do. Today, we're breaking down 8 things truly elegant women never do in public. Not because someone told them to, but because somewhere along the way, they simply outgrew it. Stay until the end, because number 6 is the one almost every woman is guilty of, and it's quietly costing her the respect she deserves. Let's begin. Number 1, she never overexplains herself. Watch closely the next time someone questions a woman in a group setting. Watch who rushes to defend, to justify, to fill the silence with 10 sentences when one would do. Elegant women don't do that. When she's running late, she doesn't deliver a courtroom-length alibi about traffic and the dry cleaner and her sister's phone call. She simply says, "I apologize for the delay," and moves forward. When someone questions a decision she's already made about her career, her relationship, her outfit for the evening, she doesn't spiral into paragraphs of reasoning. Because here's what over-explaining actually signals. It tells the room you need their approval. It tells them your peace depends on their understanding. And elegant women learned, often the hard way, that not everyone deserves an explanation. Some people just deserve a calm, closed door. Think of Grace Kelly stepping off a plane, saying almost nothing, and somehow saying everything. That's not coldness, that's control. The next time you feel the urge to explain yourself for the 5th time, pause. Ask yourself, am I informing or am I begging to be understood? There's a difference, and the room can always tell. Number 2, she never checks her phone at the table. This one is almost invisible now, because almost everyone does it. But watch a truly elegant woman at dinner, whether it's a business lunch or a family gathering, and you'll notice something rare. Her phone isn't on the table. It's not face up beside her fork. It's not buzzing every 90 seconds while she glances down mid-sentence. Why does this matter so much? Because attention is the most expensive currency there is, and where you place your eyes tells people exactly how much they're worth to you. A woman who checks her phone at the table is silently saying, there might be something more important than you. An elegant woman never sends that message, even by accident. This isn't about performing perfect manners, it's about presence. Old money households were built on the principle that whoever is in front of you deserves your full attention, whether it's a housekeeper or a head of state. That habit didn't disappear with formal dinner parties. It simply moved into boardrooms, brunches, and first dates. So here's the quiet rule. Phone in the bag, face down, or in silent mode entirely. Let your eyes stay on the person across from you. It costs nothing, and it says everything. Number 3, she never dresses for attention. She dresses for alignment. Let's talk fashion, because this is where the whole philosophy becomes visible. Look at the wardrobes of women who radiate old money energy. Camel coats, cream silk blouses, tailored trousers, a single strand of pearls. Nothing screams, nothing needs a caption, and that's exactly the point. Elegant women never dress to be the loudest person in the room. They dress to be the most aligned version of themselves. There's a quiet confidence in choosing a well-tailored blazer over a trend that will be irrelevant in 6 weeks. There's a discipline in owning 5 perfect white shirts instead of 50 forgettable ones. Loud fashion says, look at me. Quiet fashion says, I already know who I am. You're welcome to notice. This is why logos have quietly fallen out of favor among the truly wealthy. A monogrammed bag used to be aspirational. Now, among old money circles, it can almost read as insecurity, as if the fabric alone wasn't enough to prove something. The real signal today is fit, fabric, and restraint. A cashmere sweater in a neutral tone, trousers that skim, not cling, shoes that are polished, not flashy. So before you get dressed tomorrow, ask yourself one question. Am I dressing for approval, or am I dressing for alignment with who I actually am? That single shift changes everything about how a room receives you.
Number 4, she never gossips, even when invited to. This is one of the hardest habits to break because gossip feels like bonding. It feels intimate, almost thrilling. But elegant women learn something the rest of the world takes years to understand. What someone says about others in front of you is exactly what they'll say about you when you're not in the room. Watch her the next time a conversation turns towards someone's failures, someone's divorce, someone's weight, someone's business collapsing. She doesn't lean in. She doesn't add fuel. Often, she simply redirects. I haven't heard the details, so I'd rather not assume. And the conversation moves on without her fingerprints on it. This isn't about being naive or disconnected from reality. It's strategic self-respect. Because reputations are built in rooms you're not in, through conversations you never hear. An elegant woman protects her name by refusing to spend it carelessly on someone else's. There's an old saying that has survived for a reason. Small minds discuss people. Average minds discuss events. Great minds discuss ideas. Elegant women don't quote this to sound superior. They simply live by it, quietly, without announcement. Number 5, she never raises her voice to be heard. Volume is often mistaken for power. It isn't. Notice how the most commanding women in any room rarely need to raise their voice. In fact, the lower and calmer someone speaks, the more people instinctively lean in to listen. That's not an accident. It's psychology. Loudness demands attention. Calmness earns it. An elegant woman who's frustrated in public doesn't snap at a waiter, doesn't argue loudly with a partner in front of strangers, doesn't let her emotions become a performance for an audience she never invited. Instead, she lowers her tone. She slows down. She becomes, if anything, quieter when the moment gets tense, because she understands that composure under pressure is the single clearest marker of self-mastery. Think about the women you've met who seemed truly untouchable. Not cold, but unbothered in the best sense. Chances are, you never once heard them shout. Their power lived in restraint, not volume. This doesn't mean suppressing emotion. It means choosing when, where, and how it gets expressed. Public outbursts don't communicate strength. They communicate a loss of control. And elegant women have learned that control, quietly held, is far more magnetic than any raised voice could ever be.
Number 6, she never complains about her body, especially in front of others. This is the one almost every woman has done, myself included at some point, and it's worth sitting with for a moment. I look so bloated today. I hate my arms in this dress. I need to lose 10 pounds before the wedding. It feels harmless. It feels like honesty. But elegant women have quietly stopped doing this, and here's why it matters more than it seems. Every time you criticize your own body out loud, you're teaching the room, consciously or not, how to see you. You're handing people permission to notice your insecurities instead of your presence. And worse, if there are younger women or daughters nearby, you're modeling a relationship with the body built on criticism instead of respect. An elegant woman may still have insecurities. Everyone does. But she doesn't perform them publicly. If a dress doesn't feel right, she quietly adjusts or changes or simply carries herself with enough confidence that no one else clocks the difference. Her body is not a topic for public discussion. It's simply the vessel that carries her presence into the room. This single shift, refusing to narrate your own body in front of others, is one of the fastest ways to change how people experience your energy. Confidence isn't the absence of doubt. It's the decision not to advertise it.
Number 7, she never lets her home or appearance look rushed. There's a specific kind of woman who, no matter how chaotic her week has been, never looks like she's falling apart. Her hair might be in a simple low bun instead of styled, but it's neat. Her outfit might be simple, trousers and a blazer, but it's never wrinkled, never mismatched, never thrown together in visible panic. This is intentional. Elegant women understand that how you present yourself, even on your worst day, becomes part of your reputation. Not because appearances are more important than substance, but because presentation is a form of respect, both for yourself and for the people you're about to interact with. This extends beyond the body. Watch how these women handle their homes when guests arrive unannounced. There's rarely visible chaos, not because their lives are perfect, but because certain baseline standards are simply non-negotiable. A made bed, dishes out of the sink, a candle lit before company walks in. This isn't about performing perfection. It's about self-discipline as a quiet form of self-respect. When your external world reflects a small amount of order, even during internal chaos, it changes how you feel, and it changes how others perceive your capability.
Number 8. She never seeks validation through comparison. And finally, the habit that ties every other one together. Elegant women have made peace with a simple, difficult truth. Someone will always have more. A bigger house, a newer bag, a more dramatic vacation, a more perfect body. Chasing that comparison publicly, through subtle digs, through competitive conversations, through constantly measuring her life against someone else, is something she simply stopped doing. Instead, she's learned to admire without envy. She can compliment another woman's dress, her success, her home, without feeling smaller in the process. That ability to celebrate someone else without a flicker of resentment is one of the rarest and most attractive qualities a person can have. Comparison is loud. It needs an audience. It needs proof. Contentment, on the other hand, is silent. It doesn't need to announce itself because it isn't performing for anyone. It simply exists. This is, in many ways, the final layer of everything we've discussed today. The phone left untouched, the voice kept low, the body left uncriticized. All of it comes back to the same root. A woman who is no longer performing for approval because she's already given herself permission to simply be.
So here's what all 8 of these have in common, if you look closely. None of them are about wearing more expensive clothes. None of them require a certain income or a certain zip code. Every single one is a decision, made quietly, repeated daily, until it becomes who you are without effort. Elegance was never a possession. It was never something you could buy at a luxury counter or borrow from a designer label. It's a series of small, consistent choices to stay composed instead of loud, to stay private instead of exposed, to stay gracious instead of competitive. And the truth is, you don't need permission to start today. You don't need the perfect wardrobe or the perfect home or the perfect body. You simply need to choose in this next conversation, this next dinner, this next moment of frustration, to respond the way the woman you're becoming would respond. That's it. That's the whole secret. Not performance, practice.
If this resonated with you, you already know which one of these 8 hit closest to home. Let it sit with you for a moment. And if you want more of this, real, grounded conversations about building a quietly elegant life, consider staying close to this channel. There's more waiting for you here. Until next time, carry yourself like the woman you're becoming.